Hello, Gemini, and welcome to your November 2024 tarot card reading. Now, before we get started, I wanted to let you know that I have just posted on my website a 2025 year ahead overview Zoom session that's available for booking. So if you want to kind of get an idea of what the 2025 year is going to look like for you, we're going to pull tarot cards. We're going to talk about the most significant astrological transits in your chart, just to kind of help you wrap your head around what is to come. Again, that's available on my site. All the links will be in the description box in the comment thread down below. Okay, so if you want to get it on the books, now is the time. 2025 will be here before we know it. The way time always creeps up. All right, so let's go ahead and get started here, Gemini. Let's take a look with this oracle card. What is it that Gemini needs to know for November 2024? Magic, beautiful. And you might be working your magic. You may be experiencing magic from the external world a little bit, where there are a few little miracles going on here and there. You need to remember that you are extremely powerful in terms of how you create. So if you're wanting to get the ball rolling on stuff and you're wanting to take those big leaps and you're wanting to accomplish and see big results, well, then you're going to have to make those moves. The magic is in the embodiment, right? The magic is in the action. The magic is in the trajectory itself. So you have to make sure that you're on that path. The thing with Scorpio season is we really do want to be entirely on track. Okay, we don't want to be distracted. We don't want all these detours. We don't want to be very open right now. What we actually want is to be quite narrow and focused, generally speaking, where there's only a few number one priorities, or top priorities rather, and everything else just kind of has to take a back seat right now. So you have to pick which is the most important and then go really, really hard on those things. I'm not saying it has to be burdensome and all this heavy labor necessarily, but it's just when you have the passion, when you have the dream, you have the energy, and you're dedicating all of it to the goal, likely you're going to start seeing some fantastic results that's going to be even more motivating for you to keep going. So now we have take time to breathe out, which kind of feels contradictory to what I just said, but you are going to probably need some time to process things. And sometimes you need to disconnect a little bit so that you can see things more clearly. You want to detach, you want to elevate or transcend, kind of look at things from a bigger picture so that you're not caught up all in the day-to-day. Because remember, we do have sixth house energy, so there's a lot of day-to-day stuff going on, but you need to take time to just say, okay, let me just come up here a little bit, up out of the fog, up out of all the activity, and let me just kind of think about how all this needs to go down. All right, let me just strategize from a top tier level, and that way I'll be more secure in knowing that my actions are actually leading me to the right place. There's also an opportunity for you to just kind of regroup energetically, so if you are kind of spread out pretty thin, you can kind of contain everything, you can bring everything back to you, get that power back, so that when you wake up the next day, then you'll have more to dedicate to your goals. Okay, so what else does Gemini need to know here? 10 of Swords, 7 of Wands. Actually, I kind of feel like that one. And Strength. Okay, it does suggest that you've reached a point with that 10 of Swords where you are just absolutely done, completely done. And there's some area of your life or some activity or some relationship or whatever that you just don't have any more to give. You don't have any more to give into that. And if you were to continue giving, this wouldn't be healthy for anyone involved. It wouldn't be healthy for you because now you're going below that baseline. You're kind of at a deficit at this point, and it wouldn't be healthy for the other person or the other people that you're actually giving to, because it's just like it's greed at that point, right? So you're going to have to draw the line It might not be easy, but I actually think this is part of where the magic is in the Ten of Swords, as strange as it may seem. It's in your ability to say, no, I'm not going to accept this anymore. I don't like this. I'm not going to do this. And to fight more sincerely for what you want. Because I think this is that moment where you've just kind of hit that wall and you say, it's time for that change. And change, by the way, has been a massive theme throughout the entire year, not just this month, but entirely because of Pluto going back and forth between Aquarius and Capricorn. It was in Aquarius for most of the year, and then it dipped back into Capricorn, but it's finally coming back into Aquarius for good. And I think we're getting that, that real revolutionary quality coming online, and it will continue into 2025. And there is a little bit of chaos there, so we have to be willing to kind of get things a little messy in order for us to get to where we need to be. Seven of Wands, though, there's a lot of power in you standing up for, it's not even what you want, because that sounds so trivial and trite almost. That's what I want. It sounds greedy. It's not really like that. I think we're just being really driven by our souls right now. It's not about status. It's not about material gain. It's not about what other people think of us. It's not about having all this stuff. It's more, what is going to bring me the highest degree of satisfaction and fulfillment in my life? And if it's not this 9-to-5 job that makes me miserable, or if it's not this relationship that's not going so well, or if it's not this crap box apartment that I'm really not happy in, well, then this is a time for you to up level. Okay. So it does seem like you've officially hit that breaking point, and it's time for you to break out. All right. So we see the Strength card, which means now strength is good because it's good to be strong. But it is a difficult card because it means there are instances where you have to be strong. Okay, so you have to exhibit courage, you have to be brave, and you have to do things that are extremely uncomfortable. And that's usually why we say, oh, you're so brave. Yeah, because what that person is doing is so out of the box and abnormal. So you're needing to do things kind of in an extreme way. And maybe that's why you need to take time to breathe out, is maybe you even need to kind of psych yourself up a little bit, because the leaps you're about to take are quite substantial. Now, one thing, word of warning, there's a lot going on astrologically in November. There are three big things. On the 15th, Saturn stations direct in your 10th house. We have Pluto moving into Aquarius on the 19th. So that's just a 4-day difference. So I think that middle part of November is going to have a lot of switch around energy. And then we also have Mars coming into Leo, which in and of itself isn't that big of a deal, but because it's moving into Leo, which is where it's going to retrograde at 6 degrees, this is a big deal. So Mars is starting to really slow down at this point as we make our way further and further through November. And usually with Mars retrograde, I do caution people with taking these massive leaps, because Mars retrograde initiatives can tend to fizzle out and they don't necessarily have a promise of longevity. But it doesn't mean you're going to sit there and do nothing, because the impulse is probably going to be really strong. And that's a good thing, because we're being inspired and motivated to take the next big steps. But just keep in mind that that's all it is. You're just taking a step and you're stepping on the next stepping stone. It's not the final destination. Okay, so we have to be really clear about that and to understand that we're transitioning into somewhat temporary circumstances. And then next year, we can move more permanently as Mars kind of comes out of his retrograde phase in May. All right, so the Strength, though, is saying it is time for you to do this, Gemini. It's time for you to fight. And again, this is an extremely magical moment. This is not normally how we view magic, though. But this is how your magic is going to work. It's going to work through your determination. And then we have the card of victory and success, right? So your magic is going to work through your courage, your bravery, even your audacity, if I may, and even your labor here, okay? So Six of Wands is a card of victory and success, which does suggest that this is going to work out. And you are going to achieve some degree of achievement, okay? I'm also seeing a lot of external support going on with the Six of Wands, where you have people in your corner, people who love and support you, who genuinely want to see you succeed. They are entirely willing to cheer you on and celebrate you. And I think they'll look on at you and say, wow, Gemini, I know how hard that was for you to leave that behind, or how hard it was for you to fight like that, or how hard it was for you to get back up on that horse and keep going. You know, people are looking on you, or looking toward you rather, and they're seeing something special, and they're seeing something that inspires them. This is a little bit of your legacy that you might be leaving behind here. But it's not easy with the Ten of Wands, because, I mean, I know you've been through so much, and I get comments from Geminis all the time, because I guess not a lot of people are really acknowledging how hard the Pluto transit was for Geminis. I don't know why that would be. Every astrologer on the planet knows that Geminis have had Capricorn stuff in the 8th house, which is a very difficult thing, but I guess you guys haven't been getting the attention that you genuinely deserve for that. But now that that's over, now you may be like, oh, that was all the hard labor. And that was genuinely a period of learning, a 15-year intensive cycle of learning, right? Because Capricorn is extremely learning oriented. We don't talk about that enough either. We don't talk about the wisdom that is acquired under Capricorn transits. We are starting to break out of that. We're still living life, so it's going to be lessons the whole way through, but I don't know that the Pluto in Aquarius era is going to be as intense for us personally. Okay, I think as a collective, Aquarius is more like, how can humanity work together? How can we be more cohesive together? But individually, it may kind of lighten our load a little bit. But as we're making this transition in November, there are some things that you are going to have to do to kind of push this new era into being. It's almost like giving birth. It's like the final push, these 3 weeks between now and November 19th, that final push before things really start to manifest and things start to, change in the way that you've been envisioning the change for a long time. So with this Ten of Wands, but the thing is that this is you doing it by yourself. Now, again, there's people around you and they're celebrating you, but there are things that only you can do. So it's kind of on your shoulders. It's your responsibility. And I think you know that with the Emperor card. I don't think that's a surprise by any means. You get it. You get that in order to have the life you want, you're the one that's going to have to make that happen. So you're willing to do it. Usually with the Ten of Wands, we are willing. We are willing to kind of load up. We're willing to put in the time. We're willing to put in the effort. And we're willing to kind of deal with that little window of effort so that we can enjoy the results for a lifetime. With the Emperor, another theme, and did I talk about faith? I don't remember if I talked about faith yet. One of the big themes for November for all the signs is faith, where we need to have faith in the miracles. We have to have faith in the process. But another theme that's coming out too, like side by side, is one of self-respect. And I think with Scorpio being so heavily activated right now, and even Sagittarius, we are with Venus and then Mercury, and then later on the Sun will come into Sagittarius as well, late November. It is crucial for us to make decisions that are rooted in the highest degree of self-respect, so that we're not giving so much of ourselves that we're losing ourselves, or so that we're not, and that's really what this Ten of Swords is all about. Because like I say, once you're in that deficit, It's not like no one's being helped at that point. You're certainly not. Other people aren't. There's an element of greed at that point. If someone sees you at a 10 of swords and they still continue to take from you, that's also their karma too, right? Because they know. Like, we know when people are at a 10 of swords. We know when people don't have more to give to something. And so you're going to have to start, prioritizing yourself, prioritizing your own health, your own self-care, prioritizing your finances, your career path, everything relating to you, because that's what the Emperor does. It's a very self-invested card. You have to invest everything back into yourself. That's what this 10 of Wands is. Now, other people will benefit from that. There are many beneficiaries, but it really is for you. And the more you help yourself, the more you can help your children, the more you can help your families, the more you can, right? Because let's say it's financial. The more money you make, the more people you can support. The healthier you are, the more energy you have to give to your family, right? That kind of thing. So this is really loading up your plate, and again, taking all that responsibility and saying, I'm going to do this. I'm going to cross these hurdles, and I'm going to prioritize and stay focused, and I'm going to say no to everything else, and I'm going to draw those lines, and I'm going to make these courageous choices that I've maybe been putting off. I don't know, Gemini, have you been putting them off? Have you been letting things go far too long? That's possible. You've reached a breaking point, which is to be expected with the Pluto thing. So final row, we have the Sun, we have the Queen of Wands, and the Star. Okay. Now, normally, I'm going to be honest with you. I do like the Queen of Wands a lot. But in this context, she doesn't feel like you. I think you're more the Emperor. I think you're coming out a lot more masculine here, because there's just too much masculine energy in these cards. This one here, I don't know why she's giving me something sour. I don't like this person's presence. I'm not saying they're a bad person. I just don't know that this person has a place in your future. I don't know that this person has any weight with anything. They do seem to be like someone who has been important. They've been involved, but maybe this is the person with whom you're drawing the line. It's kind of interesting that they are down here, though, because it's weirdly I'm seeing a connection with the 10 of Swords, but it's odd that they are not connected in the actual reading, right? It's kind of like a very disjointed relationship between the 10 of Swords and the Queen of Wands. And she's over here surrounded by the Sun and the Star. For me, Gemini, it feels like you are going to completely outshine this Queen of Wands. Now, not that you wish any ill will toward anyone, but this is just someone that I think you've massively outgrown. This is someone that I don't know why she's giving me such an icky feeling. It feels like entitlement. Like this is someone who feels entitled to you or entitled to your time. It's just like not setting well at all. So the more and more you shine with that Sun, because that's really what this is all about, your victory and your success. It's about you actually achieving things and getting things over the finish line, and seeing you self-express and seeing you be this beautiful, authentic person that's very real. I'm not seeing anything ingenuine or disingenuous right now. Okay, I'm not seeing anything fake. I'm not seeing anything coming from Gemini that's suspect or anything like that. You are just like, this is me. This is who I am. This is what I want. This is where I'm going. This is where I'm spending my time. This is my investment. And you're not making any excuses for any of that. And it feels pure and it feels free. And to me, it feels like that Queen of Wands is someone or something that you are needing to free yourself from, because we have the healing card right next to the Queen of Wands. We have a a freedom or a liberation quality, as this is a sign or card of Aquarius. We have a kind of a final release and an alignment that also happens when the star is involved. See, all of this is to help you get more and more aligned, because clearly you were not aligned, and that's how you got in that Ten of Swords place in the first place. And if there was ever an issue with self-respect, this is your time to now make up for it. This is your time to now. It's not going to be in an obnoxious way, because I know that we can often put arrogance and things like that under the self-respect banner, and that's not really what we're doing here. This is real, true self-respect, but there's still a kindness, there's still compassion, there's still understanding, there's still faith, and there's involvement of the divine. So again, whenever you keep that connection with the divine, the reason why I'm saying that is because of the Strength card. So whenever there's still that connection with the divine, it's almost impossible to get in over your head. It's almost impossible to kind of overinflate, if you will, or kind of let that ego take hold. Now, this Queen of Wands, I'm not necessarily seeing her going anywhere. It feels more like a natural fade out, where you're shining so bright on either side that this is someone who they're just not shining as bright as you, and so your bright light is going to overpower their dim light, if you will, and they just kind of fade. But again, they're probably will still be around, because I'm not seeing anyone leaving. We'll see what the clarifiers have to say. But I'm not seeing anyone leaving. It's just there's an energetic shift, and suddenly this person gets minimized. Their presence in your life gets minimized. But that's okay, because you've drawn the line. So, it's for the best. And I think there's going to be a sense of relief when that happens, and the more and more you start giving to yourself, and the more dedicated you become with this Ten of Wands, the more determined and the more hard work you're putting into things, again, the more magic you're going to be experiencing. Like, you're too busy to even worry about this Queen of Wands anyway. You're too busy to think about it. You're too busy to revisit it. I just don't know that you have any energy whatsoever to give to the Queen of Wands. Let's go ahead and pull out the clarifiers. I'll be interested to see what comes out. So let's see. We're going to open up all these cards. We're going to pull out 3 cards per card. So like 27 cards. And we're going to talk for another 25 to 30 minutes about all these cards in the comprehensive reading. So if you want to join, all the information on how to do that is in the description box and the pinned comment thread down below. So let's see what comes out, Gemini, for the Ten of Swords. What else does Gemini need to know here for the Ten of Swords? Self-respect indeed. The Empress, Justice, and the Gemini card, the Knight of Swords. We have a 9 of Swords, Page of Swords, 9 of Coins, 4 of Coins, the Fool, there's the Leap, and the 2 of Wands. There's the Leap. 3 of Coins, another Strength card, and a Knight of Wands. Queen of Cups, Knight of Coins, and a Tower. Five of Cups, 5 of Wands. There's all the drama, right? And then we have the Judgment card. With the Sun, we have the Hierophant, 3 of Wands. This is giving me unbothered, very unbothered energy here. The Devil. See, I knew I got not a good feeling from her. I was like, I don't know why. Okay. There was something about her. All right, we have the 8 of Wands, Queen of Coins, and lastly, the Lovers, the other Gemini card. All right, Gemini. So if you want to join, again, all the information is in the description box and the comment thread down below. Thank you so much. I hope you have an amazing November, and I'll talk to you soon. Take care.